Welcome
John, how are
again.
you today?
So, are you okay?
Yes, beautiful weather finally. We finally have a day of real spring today, so I'm quite happy indeed.
Today we will talk more about humanitarian issue and the refugee. And if you have any question, you can also ask me later on. Probably, maybe I can start sharing brief presentation about current humanitarian issue, earthquake issue in Burma, and then maybe you can also, I mean, you may know on the news probably, so you can also imagine and you can also analyze and you can make discussion about earthquake and humanitarian issue, and we can also talk relation to refugee and Burmese refugee. So that
Yeah.
welcome. This is the Global Digest think tank group, and we have today special presentation. It's about earthquake disaster in Burma. We will talk about how to do efficiency for humanitarian assistance. My name is John Tang. I'm going to present brief PowerPoint, and my organization is Liberal Democracy Movement of Burma. This is the only organization in Burma which is in line with liberal democracy in America, Europe, Japan, such kind of liberal democracy. So that is our direction and our organization purpose. And this is our organization flag. So actually, the earthquake disaster, I mean, it is very unfortunate as a Burmese native native hometown from Burma. I have a responsibility or I have a kind of unavoidable reason I have to share and present this crisis in Burma to all international community. So what's earthquake happened in Burma? If you see the map, there is a two plate. Indo-Australian plate is in this India and Australia plate. It's called Indo-Australian plate, and the other one is a Eurasian plate. So these two plates are meet in Burma. This is the map of Burma. So in the middle, this green line, this two plate adjacent is at the middle of Burma, and that is called Sagai Fault. Sagai Fault line. It's also a river, Irrawaddy River, flowing from north to south. So on the line of river, the Sagai Fault is fall into the river from north to south. So when these two plates have any activity or movement, it become earthquake. This is the basic information. I'm not geology, but I'm just sharing some basic information. So it exactly what happened earthquake here in the middle of Burma, exactly central part of Burma, all this red color is central part of Burma. You see, is the whole map, and the red color is cover exactly middle part, and the most popular population resident area and many cities in the middle. And that is called Central Epidemic Center, Sagaing Fault Line. You can see here. And Sagaing Fault Line is along the river, Irrawaddy River, from here to here, north to south. So this where earthquake happened. It's about 7.7 magnitude fast in Sagaing. Sagaing is just beside Irrawaddy River, and it's western part of Irrawaddy, and Mandalay also beside Irrawaddy River, is distant part of Irrawaddy. So first 7.7 magnitude was earthquake in Sagaing, and then in a few minutes, 6.4 magnitude was earthquake happened in Mandalay. You know, it's a set of earthquake, and there are many other 5 point or 4 point will happen in this set of earthquake. So it covers huge area of affected earthquake, and it's also affected in Thailand, Bangkok City. You know, you see Bangkok City is below the map of Burma here. It's very far, but it's still affected here. And you can see the collapse of building in Bangkok too. So if you imagine in central part of Burma, big city, not just big city, also many villages and small town and district, a lot of affected. And usually this 7.5 to 8.5, 9.9, 9 magnitude, those levels happen only once in 100 years. But below 7.5, 6.5 can happen every 30 years, 20 years, 15 years, something like that. So because that is main earthquake, you know, fault line, Sagaing fault line in Burma, and a lot of cities and towns are here. And it was ancient time, Burmese kings were located in that Sagaing fault line. So many kingdoms are there, Inwa kingdom, Bagan kingdom, and you know, many kingdoms, Dongwu kingdom. Those all are here, and many kings were experienced earthquake, you know. So that is interesting history of Burma. So exactly that I'm showing that the Sagaing fault line, Mandalay and Sagaing. You can see Sagaing, this side is Mandalay, this is river, crossing river between two cities. And you know, there's a big casualty in those two cities. So here are example of homes affected by the earthquake. Usually the earthquake, it cracked all the, you know, land and road, street, gardens affected in the village. And you see how strong the railway was, you know, banned, and the bridge are broken around Sagaing city and Mandalay city. So how powerful earthquake. And also a lot of building collapse, and you know, they fall on the ground. And many building, example, four floor, one floor is already go down underground, and 3 floor remain something like this. So some are completely collapsed. You can see the picture. And yeah, a kind of, liquefaction after flood. And the liquid come out from the earthquake inside earthquake, it's come out. So this is a kind of liquefaction. And they said this one is the beginning of Sagaing earthquake, 7.7 magnitude. This one is the beginning one. And then other place you can see the liquefaction kind of liquid came out from the earth crack from below. And example here is used to be is a kind of stream or something like that. It is straight one after earthquake, like column, totally change, to different column. So it is consequence of earthquake. Before it was straight column of the river. So how powerful the earthquake. And see the road, totally crack, and some become big hole. And it is very long crack, That's a kind of seismic waves. Many road crack, and it's happen like that. See, in Sagaing, Mandalay, Naypyidaw, almost center part of Burma, happen all these roads and streets. And it is very big disaster. And hospital, hospital should be the strong one, and people supposed to rely on hospital whenever they are in trouble, such as disaster. But even hospital itself was, broken. So it's very unfortunate. And a lot of, women, ladies are trapped in the building in those cities, and the relief group, they pull up, and some women, they are already died. See, you can see some lady will be alive. They can pull out alive, but some are dead. It's very unfortunate. Some their mother and their wife, their children, people are very sad and disappointed with this earthquake. And still, a lot of people are pulling, even till today, a lot of people are trapped in the building. They pull up, and a lot of monks are also died. Religious leaders are here. And you can see already this one is monks. This one is monk. And many, other ordinary people are trapped. So the casualty and damages, most those big cities, Sagaing, Mandalay, Naypyidaw city, there were 100,000 of houses, building, and religious sites. Infrastructure was damaged. As you see, a lot of road and bridge and building was collapsed, broken, and it still remains. Many are unaccounted, what we can see and who can take a picture. Only we know that, we saw that, but there still remain who not able to take a picture, who did not found it. There are many places, huge area the earthquake is covered. And USGS estimated over 10,000 were casualty event. estimate that it can be 100,000 because many unaccounted deer, even now they counting every day. I think maybe now probably 2,000, 3,000 every day increasing. But military junta government initially said it's just about hundreds or something like that. But who are on the ground, they know every day increasing the casualty, thousands of casualty. And the impact of earthquake is about 20 million. A lot of people in this central part of the country. And before earthquake, it was already 20 million who are in need of humanitarian aid because of conflict and a lot of military airstrike and burning villages and shooting. A lot of people, especially before earthquake, mostly they are from countryside, at the border side, and at the ethnic states and mountains area. 20 million already, they are in need of humanitarian aid. But this time, earthquake mostly impact in central part of Burma and most big city and urban area. It's impacted. So you can imagine 20 million before and now 20 million, 40 million. It already impacted humanitarian assistance they are in need. And still, people are counting. There are many remain unaccounted. And the loss in terms of financially, they estimate that this earthquake will be about 30 billion. Infrastructure, building, and houses, many things. They estimated 30 billion, something like that. So what about international humanitarian aid? And UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, he offered to help. Also, Trump, he also said he will help Burma. Although OCHA, UN organization, appealed before earthquake about 1.1 billion for humanitarian aid. But so far, UN organization able to raise fund about only 5% till 2025. So you imagine almost 8 are not able to raise and cannot help. UN has very little chance to do any humanitarian system and international community aid. It's very difficult. So after earthquake, we can see recently a donation for humanitarian aid. UN set up about $5 million, and China said 13 million. Singapore is just 150,000. And UK said they will help 10 million pounds, and EU said 2.5 million euro. And South Korea said 2 million, and Australia 2 million. And we don't know other country how much they were able to help humanitarian aid in Burma. So this is not the first time, Burma is very hard time, very, very hard time. And in just last year, there was flood this typhoon Yagi. It was trapped between South China Sea typhoon and Indian Ocean typhoon hurricanes. They met again in Burma, and it was flood. It was already impact 1 million people according to UN, and 300,000 children were directly affected. It's said by UNICEF. So Burma is always geographically also consequences apart from man-made disaster. The flood was because of Indian Ocean and South China Sea hurricane. They met in Burma, and now the earthquake is two plates, Indian, Australian plate, and Eurasian plate collided, or we can say movement between two plates. It become earthquake. So that is unfortunately Burma very consequence of nature disaster, and in terms of flood or those things, it's because of industrialized carbon pollution, something like that. It become flood. It's also again affected in Burma flood in last year, and there was another cyclone in 2023. I was always sharing or presenting those disasters last year as well as in 2023. I did presentation this one too. It was big cyclone disaster in 2023. So you may see my previous podcast. That time, many churches were destroyed because it's mostly it happened in western part of Burma at the time. So many Christians are here. So many churches were destroyed, and 10,000 of buildings were damaged. In spite of disaster, military government, junta government is keep shooting, attacking people, even many innocent villagers and innocent people. That's very bad military. And still there are a lot of victims from previous year, like 2023 disaster victims. Many refugees and internal displaced are there, and many are in border, and some are crossed to the international border. So it still remains. Now again, another disaster, earthquake. So previous time, it was affected over 5 million people, and now increasing. The disaster is always increasing in Burma in the past 2, 3, 4 years. That is very bad in Burmese situation. So what's failure of military junta government? Because the military junta government is corrupt. They are corrupt. They misuse and mismanage even their own national fund, disaster fund, which was reserved. The military used all of them for weapons, military purpose. Now, when we have disaster, they cannot spend any money because they don't have money. That's corruption. And again, the military intentionally ignore well-being of the people. You can see. And the most problem is the military itself has no capacity, financially, they don't have. And again, now technical issue, they don't have capacity. Otherwise, it should be prevented, or, it should be prepared in terms of those things, readiness. The consequence, junta government could not do any preparation, and they did not make any warning or any preparation about this time earthquake. People say They don't know. They don't have any news or information from the government or military government. And suddenly it was happening. Nobody expected. So there are many people, international community, want to do condolence to military leaders. It's not go to the people. International community sending condolence letter to the military leader is like that talking to the dog. The dog doesn't care the people, and the people will be. So that international community should understand their condolence is useless sending to the military leader. And failure of international community, especially pro-military group, like that military junta, close friends like Russia, China, North Korea, they fail to have even those superpower in terms of technically or any technology assistance, even satellite assistance, etc. Russia, China could not help this military government. So we can expect more from US, Europe, Japan. They will be more friendly to the people-oriented, human rights oriented, and freedom, free world. Free world should more concern for the people. So I think we should more cooperate with those free world countries. And in fact, ASEAN also failed. So these are ASEAN who are in charge with AHA Center, which means ASEAN Disaster Management and Emergency Response. And this one is Li Yangming is, I guess, he's executive director. I think he's from Singapore. And C2 Pei is a Burmese, but these all are bureaucrats. They working at the ASEAN AHA Center, but they did not make any preparation. They did not make any warning. So these bureaucrats are not really helpful, especially in this disaster. They did nothing, almost nothing. And we concern about international aid. It can be misused, like the military government can misuse for buying for their own weapon or related to their facility, like the jet fuel to strike the citizen, etc. They can use the humanitarian aid fund for their own purpose. Example, people, international community can send food, humanitarian aid food, but the military junta can feed to their own soldier as military ration. So that is very concerned that we have to aware, international community should aware. And in human behavior of military, like the military government is like headless dog. They are dog, but they are headless dog. Because the military government, air strike in that epic area, Mandalay, just before earthquake. They did air strike. And then again, and military continue air strike even today, up to date. So what about opposition group behavior? You can see NUG government and other ethnic groups and many arms groups. NUG government also is headless peacock. They are peacock, but they are headless too. They made a lot of wrong promise to the people, and wrong promise to the civil disobedient movement, etc. So I don't like, even you are doing politics, you don't have to be wrong promise in terms of revolution. It's, politics, revolution, civil movement is different for party election, Party election is after you have you are already mature and you are already consolidated. The country, the democracy is consolidated. You can play any games in election, but before your country is consolidated, before your country is freedom, don't play with those election games. It is not revolution. So I don't like wrong promise and lying to the people. So unnecessary, a lot of bad thing happen and misunderstanding happen. So NUG government also headless peacock. They are not dog, militarist dog, headless dog. They are headless peacock. So Burma, a country, has been, many decades without head. We have problem. That is the thing. We've been for many decades after independence, but we don't have proper head. That is problem. We are running the country without head. So our suggestion is, it's important nowadays in Burma is expert role, from private sector or academic sector or any NGO sector. Their role is important for example, for efficiency humanitarian system. They are like a kind of head. They can give a direction, We don't have to be wrong promise. We don't have to be, lying or, if you cannot do anything, you don't have to lie. You should not do. Let them do. If you cannot build a house, you don't like people and you attempt to build a house, but you cannot really build a house. So it's better, don't do it. Some expert, you will let them build it. So that's the point. So at least expert here, like a head, they can give you a direction, especially in Burmese case, But in practical, many people in Burma, they want to throw their body only without head. They doing many times. They used to do. They throw a body without a head. You know my point. Without a head, without direction, without expert. They just want to do whatever they want. And that's become, wrong promise, lying, or very many bad things in politics, in revolution in Burma. So that is our suggestion. We should make a good role for expertise. And they can give direction and they can give a good explanation. They can suggest many good things. So nowadays is critical moment in Burma. As we saw, 80% of population, 20 million before earthquake. After earthquake, 20 million, they are in trouble. They are in need of humanitarian aid. So 80% of population are in trouble. Even we can say Burma is a failed state, failed state. You see, 80% are in trouble. 80% are in humanitarian crisis, which means your country is failed state. It is a sign of regime change. It should going to be regime change by force or by volunteer, or we need something to consider a kind of regime change in Burma, and military coup leaders should be their end time. They should voluntarily or by force or somehow it could be end time for military coup leaders. But it seems they may still not willing to give up any arms group, it seems, any leader, political leader in Burma, they don't want to give up. Even it is times it showing, sign of the time is showing that they don't want to give up. So the war international community must not wait then, must not wait if. International community must prepare for how to handle sudden collapse of the country, sudden collapse of Burma. Now we see the sign and the situation. 80% population in difficulty, you imagine. It is sign, very big sign. So I would like to invite donation, and I have a connection with the Burma Foundation. It's in for Henrik, for you can easily see the Norwegian address, and you can campaign for donation. We invite for any donation. You can send donation through the Burma Foundation. It's registered in Norway, and email is here, phone number is here. Bank is Spare Bank 1. It's right in Norway. The bank name is correct?
Yes.
So Spare Bank 1, bank account number is 3126 25 26 677. And VIP's number is 686173. So this is our invitation for donation. You can send through bank or VIP's number. You are willing to support our organization, our liberal democracy movement. Thank you for your listening. Thank you very much. So, Henrik, now we can have more discussion, and you are feel free to ask any question, and you can also make any comments.
I have a question, because as far as I've understood, the military junta has been in control of the main urban areas, while the opposition have been mostly in control of rural areas. And as you said, most of the earthquake, the greatest damage took place in urban areas.
Right.
Do you see this could sort of influence the military junta's grip on power, because it's been affected mostly in their areas?
Right. You mean the military is control urban area?
Yes, and since most of the damage and loss of lives took place in the areas they control, as I've understood, that could participate or could cause them to lose a grip on the places they control. Or what do you think of this argument? Is it too simplistic?
Right. We can say this earthquake is happening in central part of Burma. Mostly urban area are significant, like Mandalay City, Sagaing City, Naypyidaw City, where military base. Those are significant, and huge building infrastructure are there. And we can say military junta control mostly in that central part of the country, but there are many neutral area, and also there are many opposition groups, especially in rural area in the central part, mostly controlled by opposition group. because military government only they sit inside the city or big city, they rarely go to the outside the city or rural. So we see most building damages in the city. Similarly, huge damages. Almost all houses or building are affected more or less, either in the urban area or rural area. In the villages, you may not see significant damages. Maybe they don't build very tall building or very big houses, just a small house, maybe not that significant, but everybody affected by this earthquake. It is sure.
Okay, so you think it will be affect the situation on the ground in the civil war to some extent, since it's been concentrated in the areas of the junta control? Will it
Right.
affect their capacity to wage war, or will it not at all? What do you think? I mean, maybe it's a bit of a complicated question, but I think it's interesting since it's concentrated most in this area, in their areas, it might have political repercussions.
Right. It is in the middle of civil war. This earthquake happened in the middle of civil war. So that's why everybody from all sides are restrained in this 1 or 2, 3 days, because it's already a lot of casualty, a lot of damages. So it's not good for shooting. So they are paused, I think, at the moment, paused probably. But who knows? Anytime the military the military government can shoot back, and opposition can also shoot back. And definitely airstrike is continuing by military government. That is very bad. The military government behavior in the midst of humanitarian crisis.
Yes, because I spoke with Christian Stokke. Maybe you know him. He's a Norwegian expert, Burma expert at the University of Oslo. I had an interview with him a couple of weeks back, and he told me that he thinks that this was before the earthquake took place. He thinks that the military junta is on the verge of losing, or that it slowly but surely is moving towards defeat. So, what do you think about this? Do you think it's the military junta is basically on the losing the war?
I mean, first thing is they will not give up. They don't want to give up. That is sure. That is problem. And they bring more external factor like Russian assistance, Russian weapon supply, plus China and other so on. That make military stronger. It means they will not easily move away from their position, at least. And opposition are also not strong enough to remove military government. Plus, they don't have anti-aircraft weapon, and they don't have a good weapon or full-scale war. They need many weapons, set of weapons, but they are not in that position. And as I told you, opposition, many of them, and even NGO, they are running organization, a body without head. I'm telling you, without head, that is problem. And they don't want any expertise to involve, and they are not humbly approaching anybody with They just want to go ahead without head.
Okay. Well, it's related to this. I also asked this question to Christian, and he didn't have a very good answer. He said that there might be some problems, but the opposition is very heterogeneous. It's very diverse. It's not a single entity. It has a lot of different interests. And I wonder if by any chance the military junta is defeated, do you think they will be able to get their act together and work as a cohesive group? Or do you think there might be a new conflict down the road after the military junta is removed?
There are two things, you know, uh, throw away military is one thing. And after the absence of military, how to run the country is another thing, two things. So if I say how to run the country in the absence of military, that's not difficult, you know, that's not difficult. Most ethnic region, probably they will be, you know, autonomous region. And then those central part of Burma, they have to organize who will become up their representative from central part. Ethnic side will be their autonomous group will be represented, and central part of those people will what they should appoint somebody their leader, and then they can make coalition and may they can run the country slowly, and you know they can build up. That's not difficult. It is possible. Just need to do a little bit organizing. And the first throwing military away is not easy one, because it's required military capacity, you know, all this weapon, anti-aircraft and those things. And if they are sufficient, it can possible. Otherwise, we need external factor too, like that. If Russia, China, if not support military regime, it will be much easier for opposition to throw away. But Russia is heavily involved, and China also involved, and that obviously deadlock in UN Security Council, and many free world are keep quiet and not really supporting, and they are also confusing, I guess. So that's why my suggestion is free world, European, America, Japan, Australia. They are liberal democracy. So that is in line with my organization. So the first, they have to figure out, I mean, they will also think about that, because they should think who will be in line with our democracy norm and standard, our purpose. So that is my organization. So if you figure out the first step, and then the next step, activity, it will become slowly, you know. So now the free world side, they are in dilemma. Some people want to go through with any group without a clear direction or clear purpose, clear aim and goal, especially liberal democracy norm and standard. Some people want to go along with anybody, but for a long time, it is always a problem, right? So the free world has to also clearly decide first who they have to be, you know. They need to figure out, I guess.
So what kind of aid in particular are you looking at from the Western powers or the liberal democracies? What would you like to see from them in like specifics?
My position is clear. I'm already liberal democracy, so we just go along with liberal democracy, same in Europe or America, Japan, Australia. And then we should organize next step how to approach for revolution in Burma, how to even tackle with all this military regime. That's possible. Plus, we still not yet figure out. We did not make, example, my organization and European or America, we are not properly, not formally any cooperation. But they did cooperation with other, but probably that is not the interest. I mean, not just the government, you have to also consider the population, European, Norwegian interest, American population interest. Example, Norway, America, most are Protestant Christian, and they want freedom of religion, freedom of liberal democracy. That will be exactly same with my organization, liberal democracy. So in that package, it will be easy to organize and approach. But if you go along with anybody without clear ideology or you cannot figure out, it will be a trouble on the way, somehow, sometime.
Okay. You also said that the world should prepare for the collapse of the junta. How should it prepare? What should it be ready for if it
Definitely,
happens?
definitely. If collapse, example, in this natural disaster and military coup, anytime it can collapse within the military or with the opposition or with the natural disaster or anything, I think this earthquake nature disaster also damage a lot of military facility and some even weapon, I guess. So it means it can anytime collapse. So if they collapse, there will be anarchy in Burma. That time we need emergency uh, guidance leadership. Example, possibility responsible to protect UN peacekeeper may be there. And UN, if international community decided in UN peacekeeping true, then they have to also figure out which organization they will work along with them, with liberal democracy organization. And then we need to manage everything, so that's ready. Example, tomorrow is collapse. Who will be the first to send peacekeeping troops? America or European or UK or Japan? Something like that. They have to think about it now.
What do you think about the drug trafficking in case of a new government? Do you think it will be able to tackle it in some shape or form, or do you think it will still be thriving? Because it's a main source of revenue for various rebel groups, and even the government itself is profiting from it, right? So how do you see the drug trade moving forward in the event of the collapse of the government?
Right. It used to be, business for many military regime and corrupt leaders. But if even new government, if in case of I'm a leader, I know how to deal it. I know how to solve this. It's also depend on individual leadership and skill because there are many leaders in military. They don't have capacity and they don't know how to deal and they themselves collapse. Their morality itself also, law, how they can make it better ruling the country. So possible there are a way to solve this. It's possible.
Okay, John, you know what? I think I have enough to work with now, and thank you so much for your presentation. It was very informative. It's devastating to see all the devastation, but you know, it's very hard for me to say. It looks like it's a lot of desperation and horrible things going on. So I don't know what to do. I can only give my condolences and I hope that better times will come.
Right. So thank you very much, Henrik. You too.